Rogue Logic. This is the way.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Rogue Logic. I find it unfortunate that my topic for today has to be mass shootings, but it is relevant, all too relevant, because it's happening all the time in our country in 2023, literally every day. And it's becoming it's coming to the point where unless you are directly affected in the sense that you know the victim, you are a family member of a victim, or so on, and that number is rising. I mean, that's already in the thousands upon thousands. This insanity, this type of topic should be an anomaly rather than commonplace every single day. Now, what I want to concentrate on today is the fact that, and it is a fact, that the majority of the population of American citizens, from the right to the center to the left, are basically all for some of the common sense ideas there are in order to help with this incredibly horrific epidemic of gun violence. So, other than the far right, who are holding the rest of us hostage because those in power, the ones that are just unable to realize that even they're not representing their own constituents, and they're only representing that far extremism, but they're in the pockets of the NRA. And that is a fact. And we all know that that's the truth. And it's really unsettling, because when you know that the majority of people, Democrats, Republicans, it's absurd that something is not being done about this. And the problem, of course, is inaction in Congress. And that's both the Democrats and the Republicans, who obviously they can't agree on anything practically. Very hard to agree on almost anything these days. But they also just don't do anything about it. And it leaves us to ponder, what the hell are we going to do about this problem? And that brings me to my point, and this is going to be my personal take on it. Okay, I would direct you to go to this site. I'm going to put it up here, and I will put it in the comments below. The Gun Violence Archive. Now, this is not some far left website. There's nothing about it that has any. It's just reporting the actual facts about daily occurrences of gun violence in our country. Now, I do want to go to that briefly, and hopefully I haven't gotten rid of it here, which, no, I did not. Okay, so now I'm going to put this chart up. I'll take a picture of this. I'm just going to cite a few things here, and this is just for the date April 30th, 2023, so just a few days ago. All right, the first one, that this site is really good because it tells you the number of victims, the fatalities, where it was, and so forth. And it's just good reference material, so you can understand what's really going on everywhere. Okay, so now this is April 30th, the first one, Lawrence, Massachusetts. There were 5 victims, 1 fatality. Same day, Bay St. Louis, Mississippi. 4 victims, 2 fatalities. They also tell you the arrests. I'm just going to be brief here. Texas, Byron, Texas. 4 people shot. Georgia, Athens, Georgia. 3 people shot, 1 fatality. Same day still, April 30th. California, Mojave, California. Let's see, no one was injured. Oh, I'm sorry. No, there were 4 people injured. I guess no fatalities in that one. Las Vegas, Nevada, 4 people injured or shot. Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, 3 people shot and 1 fatality. April 30th, still another place in Oklahoma called Henrietta, Oklahoma, 6 victims killed. Kentucky, well, I'm not going to try to pronounce that. So 4 people shot in Kentucky. This is all April 30th. And then April 30th, we have Birmingham, Alabama, 4 people shot. And one more. I'm sorry, there's one more. Lafayette, Louisiana, 5 people shot or injured and 1 fatality. So that's one single day. All right. Now, I don't think that we have to be, you have to be part of one party to agree that this is a problem. This is a problem that needs to be discussed one way or another. So, when this is unfortunately now what bothers me the most about the far right, and it's their use and abuse of misdirection. And here's how they're doing it. Of course, I think we're all aware that recently one of these shootings, all right, this was the one in Nashville, and it was done by a trans person. So what happens, but we have the far right lunatics basically have to jump on this and try to get anything they can do to get it off of guns. So now it's a trans person thing that they're the ones doing this. Now, again, I will put this information down below, and I'm going to put it right up here too. The mass majority of shootings in this country for many, many years and up to the present are white males. So, forget whatever talking point you're trying to get across here. This is not, representative of the trans community, and it's such a small percentage of the population of our country that, come on, okay, just stop. Please, just stop. And then, of course, we can go to the other one, and this is the one I really want to.
I'm not a racist, but I play one in real life.
Greg Abbott, you pissant little baby. I just wonder what makes me wonder really a lot about these people. What is it that happened to them? Now, did he get his ass beat in high school, or was he always the in guy who was a total asshole his whole life, so he didn't know anything else? Did he not get laid or something? What exactly is this fucking idiot's problem? Now, just so we don't think that I'm being unfair here, I got my ass kicked until I put a stop to that in high school. And as far as getting laid, no, I was no ladies' man. Toward the end of high school, I started to, get to the point where, okay, I think it's time to. Well, at any rate, that's irrelevant. But the excuse of these people, I can understand maybe someone who's a teenager not knowing any better. I don't know how old Greg Abbott is. I'll look it up, but he's certainly been around the track a few times. And so, again, now shifting from blaming the trans people, now it's the immigrants, illegal immigrants, of course. Now, yes, the guy in question, who I will put his name up here, maybe if I think it's relevant enough. I don't see it in the article, but the thing about it is, okay, yes, he was deported more than once prior to this mass shooting. And of course, he shouldn't have been back in the United States. So that is another issue. I mean, there obviously needs to be something done there for things of that nature, but it isn't putting kids in cages. It isn't putting, separating families and mothers from their kids and this type of thing. So that isn't the answer. But again, that's a separate issue. So what is old Greg Abbott do here? He makes sure that when he makes his remarks, he makes sure that you know that illegal immigrants were shot. Now, this is inhumane. This is a cowardly, you're honestly a piece of shit if you do this. I mean, one of the victims of this, and the guy who did this, if you haven't read the story, he went over after they complained about noise because he was shooting off his gun in the front yard. And all they asked him to do was to stop it. And evidently they had asked him this many other times. And the police were very, very lackadaisical about doing anything about it. Just to keep it down, because there was a baby in the house trying to sleep. And then he paraded right over there and killed 5 people execution style, one of whom was a young child. So, this kind of insensitive, fucking disgusting remark, 5 people were killed. It doesn't matter what their status was or of immigration or whatnot. So, and this is what makes me even more against an asshole like Abbott, okay? Not only does he say it, but then the piece of crap can't stick by what he said. And he's got to have, okay, there was some backlash, which he didn't expect, probably. They also are always so arrogant. They just think that, their way is the only way, and everybody's going to love them for it. So he got enough backlash where he had to do a bit of a pullback a little bit of a retraction. And the best part is, though, let's see. All right, I found it. So the worst part is he's that type of a jackass who has to even say something like that in the beginning or to begin with. But then, and this it's better. Okay. Then he said, any loss of life is a tragedy, and our hearts go out to the families who have lost a loved one. And this was not even himself. He couldn't even do it himself. This was Renee Eze or Ease. I apologize if I've pronounced that wrong. A spokesperson for Abbott. So he doesn't even have the guts to come out and say, hey, I shouldn't have put things that way. I should have been a little bit more sensitive to the way. But you know what? He doesn't give a shit. Okay, so this bullshit about his heart goes out to the families. This is the guy who does things much like Ron DeSantis,
Mickey kicked my dumb ass,
lying to people, putting them on buses and thinking it's funny to send them to cities that are sanctuary cities that will take in immigrants with a different policy. And this is not the answer. Okay, theatrical escapades of a cruel nature are not the answer to, the problems that may occur. Now, I'm not going to tell you that I know about living near the border because I don't. I have never lived in that part of the country. But if you go by factual evidence, factual information that you can look up, our border policy has changed very little in the transition from Trump to Biden. So this narrative that they're getting from certain news sources, Fox, and whatnot.
No, not
yes,
Fox.
I mean, we all know where this is coming from, and the more extreme ones. Facts do matter. Okay, so if there was a problem during the Trump administration, there still is. Then do something constructive about it, not building a wall that never got built, by the way. Total bullshit. So, let's sit down and talk about maybe, what immigration policies could we put in place that would help that? What would it be better to start cracking down on people who are hiring these illegal immigrants because they don't want to pay someone the amount of money that they need to pay them for jobs that they don't want to do? And perhaps we need to really start working closer with some of the countries in Central America and South America that are sending all of these immigrants through, because the conditions there are horrific. And I don't know, do we need to do more sanctions on these countries? Do we need to have some type of better policy about how we interact with them? I don't know. I don't have all the answers, but I know what doesn't work, and I think we all know what doesn't work. So I'm going to start to close down with this. This reminds me of an issue that is another topic that people seem to be confused about, the why it's happening and that it is happening. Okay, and that topic is climate change. Okay, so here we have 99% of the scientific community on the planet agrees that there is climate change, that it's a real thing and it's happening. But hypothetically, let's just say that it isn't. Let's just say that, and the hypothetical is going to come first. Let's just say that it's a normal climate reaction, that happens over millennia. So let's say that the Earth gets warmer. There was an ice age. There were probably many. Okay, let's say that's true. Even if that is true, the fact is that the temperature is rising around the globe. That means water levels are rising. That means that the air is getting, everything is changing. So let's just say you don't believe that it's done by us. It doesn't matter. You still have to address the issue. Okay? So now we'll go out of fantasy land.
What a novel idea.
Yes, thank you. We're going to get back to reality. And just think of things this way. Just humor me if you don't agree with this, okay? This seems to be a point that isn't brought up enough, all right? So let's just estimate maybe, let's say 10 to 12, let's just call it 10,000 years of humanity slowly, transforming into what we have today in modern society. So for most of that time, up until, let's just conservatively say 1850, the Industrial Revolution was just starting. Okay, so, you were getting railroads. You were just starting to get factories and things that had, in maybe some of the bigger cities. And so from 1850, now this is just a rough estimate, to the present day. So 1850 to 1950, 100 years, another 50 years to 2000. So 150, 173 years. In that time, the invention of the automobile, air conditioning, jet planes, we've gone to the moon. We have mass highway systems for the millions and millions of cars and trucks and boats and ships and airplanes, okay? So, and all the factories and all the dumping in the oceans and all of this has happened. And you don't think that it's possible that we have affected our climate by doing these things? I mean, honestly, to me, I don't see how you couldn't think that we did something to affect this. It just seems like it would be a common sense topic. And the thing is, it is. And you know what? We all know that much like the politicians and the sycophants who, go along with them, and the cult members, just like with the ones who are in the pockets of the NRA, so are they in the pockets of the big oil companies and big industries that stand to lose if we don't keep the oil industry pumping away and don't look into new forms of clean energy. So it's really not a mystery. It's a sad fact about greed and how you've got a small minority of people controlling what most of us know is best for all of us. With that, I'm going to say goodbye for today. I hope everyone has a great day. Please be kind to one another whenever you can, which is almost all the time. Always be kind to animals, and peace. Now, how does it go? I can't think
That's
of the
bloody
damn
creepy.
words. What we have to talk about constantly. And, damn it, I just can't seem to... You know, basically this is happening on a day-to-day basis, and it should be an anomaly. It isn't. So, excuse me. I gotta start again. All right, we'll work on the old magic trick. All right, there's the coin. And there it is. All right. Let's cram it in there. And then... Oh, that's pretty good. Not really, but I'm trying. You always have to try something new. Peace.